And another thing which is very relevant to what has just happened in Haryana, you have been the very driving force of the manifesto committee which has just launched. And right now the BJP in Haryana has also launched a Sankalp Patra, also, validating and assuring the guarantees, which has been also promised by the Congress. There are various amount of promises being made as of to what amount should be given to women, then to also for the pension. And there are several other issues which has been picked up by BJP to counter what has been also launched by the Congress in Haryana. How do you view this, and what kind of a response is generally to such a manifesto that has been launched by BJP?
Very generally, the two leading parties or alliances, the left front, of course, they have their own views on certain economic policies. Otherwise, there is not much of a difference in views between the Congress and the BJP, let us say, or if you their allies in UPA and NDA, as far as economic policy is concerned. Today, there is not much of a difference. So whatever you're doing is building up policies for the nation for the coming 5 years, for whichever body you're elected to, state or national, to plan your budget expenditure for the next 5 years. So what do you want to do? So now people are terming this as political competitiveness. Each party is trying to outdo the other in terms of giving certain policy initiatives, which are also termed by some as freebies, etc., and how acceptable or harmful they could be for the economy in general. So from making things available for the people immediately to maybe certain objectionable freebies. I am not in favor of giving mobile phones or TV sets announced through government spending budgets. I am certainly all for and will always be all for free education and free healthcare. Are they freebies? So the idea is, how are you going to increase the spending capacity of a family so that that eventually goes to running and churning this economy in general through purchasing power capacities, enhanced purchasing power capacities, which can absorb manufacturing capacities, increasing manufacturing capacities. Otherwise, the cycle doesn't keep going up. So my view is limited to very generally this aspect, that you need a system. You have given, let us say, concessions to, we talk about 14 lakh crores, 18 lakh crores, bank benefits given to manufacturing units. Let us say it is not to help somebody individually, but for the economy. So the view would be that by making so much money available for manufacturing to increase your manufacturing capacities, installed manufacturing capacities, you will create jobs and you'll get the economy to spiral upwards. Now you have provided so much capital to invest through the share market and through such measures, or whatever other measures you could adopt, bank loans, etc. Has manufacturing capacity increased? Why is it not increasing? Because if you make something and it is not bought by somebody, you cannot go on making it. Nobody is going to go under a loss to produce things which are not going to be consumed. You produce two kurtas, I'll buy them. You produce 10, I can't buy more than 2, 8 will be lying in your stock. And eventually that inventory will prevent you from manufacturing further. Business will stop. So how do you get this cycle running? So generally these are the two views. You have enhanced purchasing capacities. The theory is that manufacturing will create jobs, and then jobs will create the economy going forward. People will have purchasing capacities. So how many jobs will be created by manufacturing? So between that, then you go into these announcements through projected policy documents like the manifesto, where so I'll do this. So this political competitiveness that we are seeing, which is going towards providing higher pensions, higher prices for the farmers, higher wages, more jobs. There will be a limitation for governments to provide jobs. So again, you see that manifestos don't say government jobs. They say jobs. Any state or even the national government will have its limitation of its budget. Our country's budget is 45 lakh crores, 50 lakh crores, let us say. So only 50 lakh crores. Na? Out of this 50 lakh crores, if 30% is to go into establishment, very generally, so 15 lakh crores only. Na? You can't give salaries of more than 15 lakh crores if you want to invest in other things also, like the social sector and the capital infrastructure, etc. So you say jobs, but then you have that limitation. So it is jobs outside the government also, which will provide this eventual purchasing capacity. And till then, what do you do? Till then, you say कि मनरेगा jobs, your minimum wages, suppose 250, we'll give you at least 400, we'll give you at least 500. But saying that, what are you doing? Not just giving a pleasing statement or to affect the voter to vote for you, we are going to give you so much. But the thought is that 500 means empowering you economically to increase your purchasing capacity, so eventually the economy can run. This is not a freebie. Healthcare expenditure, education expenditure, a private school, we ask, they say, what is the fee? 2,500 to 5,000 rupees a month. For 10 months, if a parent is providing education to their child, it's 25,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees for one child. This is an average school in, let us say, my constituency. This is not Delhi, where fees are likely to be higher, or the other parts of the country. So when you talk of free education, what is the thrust? Not to please somebody to get their votes. There is an economic, clear thinking economic agenda that you are doing this to ensure that the individual and the individual family increase their purchasing capacity through this. Final lines would be 300 units, we won't take electricity bill. The logic is the same, whether this should apply or not. The larger perspective which the Congress has adopted or has taken forward even in the last national election agenda was the minimum income concept. So this is not a concept just of the Congress party or of India or the country or a particular state. The world is looking at it. All countries in the world are looking at having a basic minimum income for each family, whether it is through pensions or whether it is through state support or whatever name you may give. So that is one concept which says that, again, you're ensuring Congress in its agenda had 1 lakh rupees. So no family in the country will have an annual income of less than 1 lakh rupees. No family. If you and I are earning today more than 1 lakh, so we are not covered by that. But those at the, let us say, bottom rung of the economic ladder, who are landless and who are in, let us say, daily wage jobs, what are they earning? If it is less than 1 lakh, then they must have support from the government, which supports everybody, not just widows, not just differently abled people, not just elderly. Every individual family in the country must have a minimum income. And politically, you link it to women and say that to empower another policy thinking agenda, that a woman cannot, from my point of view, be actually more equal unless she is financially also more equal. So when you're giving 1 lakh to the family, you can give it to the male member also. The point to give it through the female member, eldest in the family or whichever way you present it, is to also cover that policy line that you are wanting to empower the women of society, women of the country, so that they reach that status where we say that men are equal to women. Unless women are economically independent, I don't see the concept of Ardhanarishwar coming to life in India or the world. I may be incorrect, but that is my thinking. So then all these announcements are part of that. Lots of things, the manifesto will give you lots of things. MSP is what? Same thing. You're strengthening the purchasing capacity of the family. The goal is not to give a particular price. Why MSP?
But are you saying that assisting or empowering women financially in any of the manifestos across the assembly elections is going to be a masterstroke in that respect?
It is being seen as a masterstroke. It is a necessity. Straight off, you are affecting 50% of the population, 50% of the voters. See, when we formed the manifesto, let us say in my state, Chhattisgarh, I tried to say this. I don't know if I should be saying this on an open platform, because then you're sharing trade secrets. Who should you be targeting? 100% of the population in your budget used through the manifesto. So you have things for 100% population. Then which are the large chunks of population? Let us say in the country today we have 60 or 65% who are farmers. In our state it is 70%. So you target 70% of the population, something for farmers. Now what is the next demographic? Youth. What is their population? 2/3, 66%. What is the next demographic? Women, 50%. Those who are less empowered. Men are also 50%, but they appear to be more empowered. They may or may not be, but they appear to be more empowered. Who's the salary earner? Maximum families you are having, more men than ladies, women who are money earners for the family. They are earners in the family, but not in terms of cash, not in terms of money. Which family can run without the lady contributing? You don't add her contribution in terms of rupees. So that is it. Then these manifestos are supposed to target the good of society in general through these demographics, who you see as children and youth and women and farmers and labor class, those who are less empowered today. You should not be forming policies for the richest business persons. You have conducive environments for them to function. There is no necessity to cut anybody. But if your budget is limited, who do you support first? For me, the person who has the least. You don't have land. You don't have a job opportunity. You're probably not educated. You cannot reach medical facilities. You're in a high plateau somewhere in the jungle. You don't even have a road to that person. Even today, 77 years after independence, there are places in the country where you don't even have a road. And there are families living there. Electricity hasn't reached there. Health facility hasn't reached there, in the sense that you have to probably carry somebody on a cot 15, 20 kilometers, 10 kilometers till the ambulance spot or whatever. So who should get it first? Me or that person? So state policy should be directed bottom upwards with a conducive environment for those at the top. You make your contribution, but who should the state help first? Not me, that landless person.
Thank you for speaking to NewsX. So this was Congress's T.S. Singh Deo on a host of issues, as well as the one nation, one election, and very importantly, as the tone for the dangle of Haryana State Assembly election is concerned. This is Simran with Avdesh Chaurasia for NewsX.